Good evening, and welcome back to this Hogmanay special. It is a Hogmanay special, and it's one just to say thank you to everyone who's watched the channel over the year, and it's a special one just for those who may be sitting home alone tonight. It is just a special one for you guys. So I'll have a little drink tonight. I am going to stay on for about an hour or so. Just to see how many people are on, because it is one of those strange nights, and as you can see there's a Greg Taylor headline kicking around that I've put up already. I'm going to put the table down just a little bit. That's a little bit better. So yeah, tonight is all about me saying thank you to everyone who's watched the videos over the year. And the fact that we're hitting a massive subscriber count. We've hit a massive subscriber count. We are sitting on 20,536. Now, only around about 75% of people that watch the channel are actually subscribed to the channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Because the channel did have over 100,000 unique people, unique IP addresses watching the channel this month, and if every single one of them subscribed, it would be absolutely fantastic. Anyway, let's jump into the chat first of all. I better just check that the audio's telling me it's okay, but we'll just check on this. Subscribed, it would be right. There's quite a lot of people. Jesus, there's 145 people on. I never expected that on straight away. Thank you everyone for turning up on Hogmanay, and I mean that. I never expected half as much as that to be on straight away. The chat is going absolutely bonkers already. First up was I think it was Mr. Quinn. Big Des was in the house, and then Danny Cassie. I'm going to call you Dan Cassie. It's not Danny Cassie, because Danny Cassie is a mate of mine who sadly passed away yesterday. Dan Cassie, Willie Man, just heading out for a shift in a pub. Have a good one when it comes. Big Des, Alan Knotts, don't underestimate the Huns. It's a cauldron of bigotry and hatred. Yeah, I think one of the biggest fears that a lot of people do have when it comes to the game on Thursday is the safety of our team, our management, and our backroom staff. You've got to remember that it wasn't so long ago that one of our backroom staff got hit with a bottle on the head. And the fact that it is a cauldron of bigotry and it's a nasty place. The fact that we've had people that have been hit with bottles before, in this day and age, do you know what I mean? In the 2020s, it's something that should have been consigned to the 1980s, when all that nonsense was brought in about the stopping alcohol and everything that's just been since then. For it to happen in this, I don't want to talk about that tonight. I don't even want to talk about it. Hank's in the house, Big Des is in the house, Diane is in the house. Also, evening to you, Diane. Chilpill is in the house. Dave Hislop's in the house. Apologies if I missed you out. J1888's in the house. I'm just scrolling through these from the beginning. 2 seconds. Dave Morton's in the house. Mr. Quinn's in the house. Kaiser is in the house. Dave Morton. Stephen Johnston. Stephen, I hope you're doing really well. And I mean that, mate. I hope everything's going as well as it can be. And I wish you a healthy 2025. Chilpill is in the house. No Lanky to now. I will not say Lanky until the new year now. Jim F. Stuart Ramsey is in the house. Also, Ceneri's in the house from South London. Stephen Kelly's in the house. Sean Mahon's in the house. Jerry Cassidy, Boys 67. Anthony McDonald. Peter Larkin, Jerry Cassidy. And I think I've missed anyone. Bernard's Ghosts. Bremner's Ghost. I need to click on this channel. I hope you've got some content. I love it when I see channels with really... Bishop Rampage. Skypig. This video may be inappropriate for some users. It's uploaded 18 years ago. We've got got this, just in case it looks like a game. Bremner's Ghost. That's a cracking YouTube channel. You need to get like ghost stuff up. Talk about ghost stuff. Anything. Just find if that's your thing. Talk about it. It's amazing what people listen to online. Andy Boy's in the house. Paradise Found is in the house. Jim F's in the house. Tommy55's in the house. Alistair Laidlaw. Happy New Year. Comes Baz at Phil Timms. Have a great and safe night. Oh, David Lamont's in the house. Sinn Féin's in the house. Rebel67 is in the house. Bastard Cars is in the house. Hoopy's in the house. Mike, Big Delboy is in the house. Oh, Lanky's in the house. Good evening, Lanky. What can you tell us, Lanky, about Greg Taylor and the Greg Taylor situation? Is Greg Taylor going to Dynamo Zagreb? I don't think so. Not on a free. Celtic will sell him. Michelle Shaw's in the house. Stephen Gallagher. And that is, I think I've mentioned everyone. Baz, get the ribbons on the league. Get out the ribbons. I can't find one that's got green ribbons on it. To be fair, I've never had time to sort of look, but the ones that I've found have not got green ribbons on it. It's absolutely a nightmare. But yes, I need to take the black and white ones. Anyway, let's get into some Celtic news, because earlier on today, as you could see by this tweet that went out, it was in Spanish, which is weird because it's coming out of Football Croatia. Rumour, according to some Twitter handle, Dynamo Zagreb are interested in Celtic left-back Greg Taylor, aged 27. His market value is 7 million, although he becomes a free agent in June. Market opportunity, and it's a sure thing for Brendan Rodgers. He'll not be going to Dynamo Kiev unless they pay money in January. I do fully expect Greg Taylor to be sold in the next 2 weeks. For a fee around about £3 million. The exact same way that David Turnbull was sold last year. That'll be the way that it will go. There's absolutely no chance. Well, Greg Taylor, is it rude to eat? Hug my name. It's hug me. There's absolutely no way that Greg Taylor will be going for absolutely nothing. Keel's going nowhere, says Chilwell. Yep, I said that Keel was going nowhere. James 420 says, hi everyone, I might not type in the chat, but I'm always here. Best in each and every one of you. That is fantastic. James 420 FTS, that is fantastic. You should comment in the chat more. They're a safe bunch, really. They're all bonkers. Dan Cassie's in the house. Can I hear a drink? Not the game. Ray says we need to bring our own security because they couldn't care about our safety. Yeah, I know. Smart Dubai year. Kaiser's in the house. Greg Taylor, 4 million, and get a free Odom Owen. He's one that's leaving on loan. He is leaving on loan, from what I'm led to believe. Big blow to have. We'll get to that in a minute, because we're actually going to listen to what their manager said. And yes, their manager did say, look, we've not won the league in 12 years. And when we did win the league, it wasn't at the first time of trying. We'll get to that in a minute. We're going to have a bit of... The meltdown will come. The meltdown will come on what their manager said today. And I'm going to see, we're going off on a tangent already. If a Celtic manager ever said, look, we won the league. I can't even think about it. If a Celtic, the only person that I could think that could come close to saying anything ridiculous as that would probably be Tony Mowbray. And you know how it ended with Tony Mowbray against St Mirren. But for him to come out and say, look, you've not won the league in 12 years. You've won it once in 12 years. Calm the fuck down. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Honestly. Absolutely bonkers. Any messages on Thursday? I hope the players walk off. No, I do not, because if Celtic players were to walk off due to safety concerns, the SFA would give them 3 points. Would they make ultimately what you would want to do is, remember a few years ago when there was glass glass bottles smashed up and thrown onto the pitch in front of Joe Hart's goal. Our security team will need to make sure that doesn't happen again. And if it does, Celtic are well within the right to walk off the pitch and cite safety concerns and put the onus back on that club. Do you know, for far too long, they've got away with, you know, wrecking toilets at Celtic Park. And safety concerns. I mean, they didn't have all the safety stuff set up for the game at the beginning of the year. They wanted tickets for Celtic Park, saying, "Yeah, we'll have everything sorted for the game later on in the year." No, yous wouldn't. Eh? We knew you wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? And they're like, "Oh well, we've got it sorted now, but you're not getting tickets." Anyway, we'll get to them in a minute because I want to listen to their manager. Casper won't stand for that shit. No, he won't, Kaiser. Baz, speak for yourself. No bonkers. We'll just have your head, said Hank. I've got to say, it is a brilliant coffee and joint time. You just don't give a shit in the chat. It's brilliant. It is brilliant. But one of the things that is good about the chat on this channel and everyone, it's the community, and it was always the hope. It wasn't set out as a target, but it was set out as a hope when I renamed the channel to the One Celtic Fans View. When I renamed it to One Celtic Fans View a few years back, I thought, is there a chance that you can create a little Celtic community? Never expecting to be this type of community. When you look back at the videos in 2019 and 2020, it was going to be a different channel completely. It was going to be a completely different channel. Celtic content, but not in this kind of format, which I'm kind of glad happened. But anyway, Stephen Kelly says he's cross-dressing tonight. Oh jeez, man. You do just get a laugh on here than anything. Right, anyway, let's listen to some more Celtic content. Obviously, Greg Taylor is the big one. Greg Taylor has emerged as a surprise target for Dynamo Zagreb, with reports in Croatia saying it's not via Sun Sport. Oh, honestly, I wish some Celtic bloggers would just say where the original source came from. And if you do have a Celtic blog and you're taking content directly from the Sun Sport, go and find out the original source, because I've got the original source on the screen, as you can see. This is where the Sun has taken their information from Twitter, and it's not hard to find out the original source. Do you know what I mean? It's just lazy journalism. But I'm not a journalist. Thankfully, I'm a YouTuber. Yes, I am not a journalist. I'm a YouTuber, and I'll ever be grateful for being a YouTuber. I'd rather be a YouTuber than a journalist, to be honest. It's a lot more fun. But anyway, let's listen to their manager, because we need to have a little bit of hilarity tonight. And then there's going to be a mass exodus. Oh, and I will admit, earlier on tonight, I did try to do a live hack. But at the very last minute, if you go into my Twitter, you'll see some of the comments from said video. But at the last minute, they put it to members only. Those sneaky bisms. Yeah, they did put it to members only. Which has got me thinking. But anyway, it is going to be a laugh. So let's listen live to. That's not live. It was from earlier on today. To Lord Voldemort. And I'm going to jump through his press conference because I want us to listen to one bit in particular. I do want us to listen to one bit, and it's Kaiser's shame. Baz is the captain. Kaiser, Baz, when I had the English lady voice here, Monty was... Baz. God. Oh, man. The old Joanna Lumley voice. That was brilliant back in the days. But the channel would never have grown to what it has with the Joanna Lumley voice. It wouldn't. It was impossible to try and get it to that to this level with the Joanna Lumley voice. It was going to be a difficult thing to do. But yeah, going back, I wasn't even, the channel wasn't even meant to be with the Joanna Lumley voice. That all came around because I was thinking, how the hell am I going to keep this Celtic channel going when I'm not going to games? And that was a difficult decision, but it was a weird one. Anyway, let's listen to Numbnuts.
Squad looking heading into Thursday's game.
There's a very, very, very small chance that Liam Belligan can return. We will see. He did some individual work today. For the rest, nobody will come back, and we lose Stev also, who get an injury at the end of the game. He could continue, but we took a scan and there's clear damage there that he will be out for a few weeks.
So is he basically saying that the players that he rested and that the sports guy, I think the sports science guys are trying to get Voldemort the sack, aren't they? So he's saying that the 7 or 8 players that they rested will not be back for the game on Thursday. I'm going to wait till we see the team on Thursday. I don't believe a word the guy says. But if the sports science guys, they must be the ones that are trying to get him the sack. It has to be. We need to find out who the sports science guys are and just kidnap them for a couple of weeks.
How big a blow is that, not only for the few weeks, but for this game in particular, not having your captain available?
Of course it's a blow, and every injury is a blow, and we had a few blows in that way the last weeks.
Why won't you say disappointed? They've changed the word disappointed to blows. It's the last time I say that on this channel.
The last months, first with Nana, then with John, then with Liam Belligan, with Ritvan before in the defense, and they did well, only totally not. Find solutions now for that position. It will be possible to play. You cannot play on one leg. So we will see. No, but we always take risks, and you have to do in this business, but it needs to be no crazy risks. Players, then you lose yourself. We need to look at every game to take the maximum out of it. We are very disappointed that we didn't do that in the last 2 games. To take the maximum out of it, we are very disappointed.
He said disappointed. We've been waiting for it. He said disappointed. Oh my goodness. They've lost that famous Scottish 55 and replaced it with Sports Science FC. Oh, they'll have that. Right, let me jump back onto this other screen.
You can start with your record in this fixture.
Oh, no, not you yet. Jesus, calm down. I want to hear him talking about the fact that we've not to look at the points anymore, or the gap.
That we didn't do that in the last 2 games. In those games, the team showed resilience to fight back. Another dynamic, you have another conclusion after the game also. Now you lose 2 points more. So it's now looking to the next game to go full for the 3 points.
When a lot of the external focus may be on the league table and what that gap looks like, is it tough not to focus on it? Is it tough not to let that get into the players' heads?
I cannot look in all the heads, but it's the most. Yeah, it would be stupid to think only about the gap and not to think about the next game. It's about the next game, always in football. If you're in front or you're behind, it's always the case. So we knew it would be a tough season in that way, rebuilding a squad with a lot of young players and against a squad who's there already with a core for several years, who spend a lot of money also to create more depth in their squad, because they knew there would be much more games than it was in the past, to make a rotation also in that way in the squad to keep everybody fresh. So we knew that and we go full in the challenge.
Philippe, you say you knew it was going to be a tough season. Did you expect to be here? And when you're speaking about the boards, the backing that you got from them, did they expect you to be in this position?
At this point, does he throw the board under the bus here?
The points behind going into the second one.
Yeah, but the points behind you are always pointing towards that. But it's also because your opponents get also a lot of points, even more than they had in the past. So that's also something to...
What? It's one of those moments where you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, mate?
To do with the gap made there. We need to look at ourselves and to get the best out of the squad we have now, and to make this squad better and better, to become stronger and stronger. That needs to be our focus for now until the end of the season, and for next season and the seasons to come, to build something. So this club has been one-time champion in the last 12 years, and not with the first season that the squad was built.
Do you still think you've seen enough progress?
There it is. There's the comment. There's the comment. There's the comment. You've won the league once in 12 years. A Rangers manager. Oh my God. Oh, Jesus. Sergeant, is that split P? Thank you. Dylan, you've won the league once. Oh my goodness. You've got to laugh. You have got to laugh. That lot. Could you imagine? Could you imagine telling? Could you imagine a Celtic manager sitting in a sitting in a press conference, right? And saying, look, we've not won the league in 12 years. And when we did win the league, it took our gaffer about 4 years to win it. So we knew it's not going to be easy. You would be out the door quicker than you could say, how's your father? Clement makes perfect sense on magic mushrooms and 2 bottles of Buck's. He's mad, Bonnie. He is absolutely bonkers. He's a manager that I need to listen to that again. I apologise. And no, I don't apologise, because this, no manager ever of Celtic, his feet would not touch the ground after the press conference. He would have been out on his ear, out the back door. We need to listen to this again.
This club has been one-time champion in the last 12 years, and not with the first season that the squad was built.
Do you still think that you're seeing enough progress? Obviously, reference the last couple of games, which have been difficult. Are you seeing enough progress that you're still on track for where you plan to be at the start of the season?
Did you give the same question 9 days ago? No, these two games was not good enough, and for sure in this first squad was built.
Do you still?
Let's listen to this.
This club has been one-time champion in the last 12 years, and not with the first season that the squad was built.
I bet you that is. I bet you that's become a YouTube short already. I bet there's many channels out there. It's not even the gift that keeps giving. It's the gift that it just goes for one level. He manages to take it up. At least he knows there's 12 years old. Yes, at least they've admitted it. They've got a Rangers manager that's admitted that the club is 12 years old, and I just think that is the funniest thing ever. He has to be. Is it that I'm absolutely. I can't. They must be pulling their hair. If that was one of our managers, there would be guys standing outside Celtic Park right after that interview got aired, chasing them down the road and say, "How you beat it?" Oh my goodness. Jesus. But as it was choked before. Well, yep, he will that. He will that. I'm just trying to see. It's Kaiser. Are you the only spanner on the night. I'm just checking who's making sure that there's a spanner on. I'm sorry if I'm not reading the comments because I've been reading this, reading the nonsense on the Belgian waffler. Should be listening to him a bit more. We really need to listen to that again, don't we?
Build something. So this club has been one-time champion in the last 12 years, and not with the first season that the squad was built.
Do you still think?
Here's to Clement for admitting that the Rangers Football Club, died, went to hell in 2012, and that in the last 12 years, the Rangers, known as Sevco, have only won the league once. Is a toast to Clement for the most honest man with inside Ibrox. Who would have thought that we would sit here on the 31st of December 2024 and we would be sitting toasting at a Rangers manager for one, admitting that the club's only 12-year-old, and two, for admitting that they've only won one title in 12 years. It has to be said that it is an absolute. We should be humbled to have such an honest man like Philip Clement sitting in the seat at Ibrox. He's surely trying to get sacked. I think that the people, he's not trying to get sacked. I think that I have no idea. We're going to have to listen to a little bit more of it just for the hilarity factor.
Discuss that. We show that in moments we did well what we wanted to do, and how we started the game also against Motherwell with a good building, with a good action, with a good clear chance for Cyril in that moment, and a few actions after the goal against, we started to rush things too much, with too much desire to force things, but with not enough overview in moments. In moments, yes, because we still created good other chances with 2 good goals and other good chances also for several players. But we took away also several moments that we rushed too much. So you need to find this balance again.
Are you worried about?
Did anybody make heads or tails of that? Unbelievable. I think it is unbelievable. Anyway, he just ate a blue pill. I think the meltdowns are on Thursday. Can't wait. The meltdowns on Thursday. Can you see us now? Oh, Jesus. They still have to pay the sheep $600,000 for Connor Barron. Well, they're not getting that, are they? Anyway, let's listen to Brendan Rodgers. Let's get some sensibility back into the conversation and see what the type of questions that Brendan Rodgers was asked today. Putting it into perspective, I'm going to update this video. I'll need to quieten it.
This is what losing.
Cancel that. Their video on the Rangers channel of the club, this is how turned off they are to their own manager. There's only been 11,014 views within 5 hours of Philip Clement's press conference. But in the same time, in 5 hours, Celtic have had over 21,132 views of their video with the Celtic manager's press conference. So let's see how much nonsense Brendan Rodgers.
It's pretty incredible. It must be something you're very proud of. How important is it to you to maintain that?
Well, it's the next game. I think that the players, it means a lot to them. They know how to win in this game, and between them and myself and the staff, we want to win the game, and we're very committed to doing that, to put the performance in that we always look for, and ultimately for the result. So, but no, they're always special games. I never get tired of them. I treat them all like it's my first one. So I understand what it takes to and what it means to win this fixture, and that's our aim going into the game.
And when you're preparing for a match like this at Ibrox with no Celtic fans there, does that change your approach at all?
No, not really. No, hopefully this will be the last one of these types of games. But not our game is still very much the same. We play a pressure game, we play a pressing game and a passing game, and that's what we want to deliver.
And 2024, you've talked about how successful that's been for you. How key is it to start 2025 in the same vein?
Always. Like I said, it's the next game, and it's a great game for us to start off the year with. So we're excited by it, and obviously 2024, in terms of what we achieved over the course of the season, was really impressive, and we want to continue with that. And this game will then mark the halfway point in the season, and until this point, the players' skill and their discipline and the teamwork has been outstanding. So we just want to continue in that mentality.
Is all of the pressure on Rangers for this game, Brendan? Yeah. Or is that too easy for people to assume?
Far too easy.
Yeah, no, listen, we will always assume the pressure. We don't want to say yes or no. We put ourselves under pressure in every game to win, and to win well. So nothing changes in this aspect.
Brendan, I don't think any manager could go into a fixture like this feeling relaxed, just because of the nature of the game itself. How much less stress is involved for a guy like you when you know what the mindset is inside your dressing room? They've done it over and over and over. Does that give you a bit of comfort going into a match with, sort of powder keg occasion, when you can look around that dressing room and see guys that have just done it over and over again?
I think that's a bit of a... I'm going to say that's a bit of a disrespectful question, because every game's never been a walkover. There's been many games where you could ultimately say it's tight, but I mean, ultimately there's been games where it has been a bit of a breeze, but you've still got to fight for it. So it'll be interesting to see what Brendan says.
Well, I think it's what I say. I don't think there's any less stress. I think these games, they're there to be enjoyed, of course, and that's the beauty of them. That's what gives me the excitement every time they come around. But like I said, I've got players that they know what it means in this game,
yeah,
and they know what it takes to win. And they, like I, are committed to delivering that. So when you have that, of course, you don't relax anymore. But I trust this group. We've been together long enough now, after those early teething problems we had last season, and we see that consistency now and how we approach and how we work. So of course I go into every game now with that feeling. But it never takes away there's always pressure there, but pressure is what a club like this here is all about. There's no, you can never look for an easy game. You have to perform well, because it isn't just about winning; it's about performing. And these games give you a wonderful opportunity to do that.
But it must be nice to know that the mentality, the mindset inside that dressing room is these boys will find a way to win. That's what they do.
Yeah, I think people will talk about that, the culture and how do you achieve that, but that's every day of your life. That's step by step, climbing together, all the details that you do, because you first win in the training ground. Before you even start on the field, on a match day, you win on the training field with the work that you do, all the analysis that you do, the coaching that you do, the preparation, the chefs that the foot, everything. This is where you win first. And then that mindset and that culture grows and develops from there. So we always stay in a humble way to prepare for games. People look at the gap, but it doesn't even come into it. We cannot soften up, and we won't soften up. We perform for the next game because we know how much this game means to people.
The focus of the team, the relentless nature of it's impressive, Brendan. So when there's such a huge points gap, is this a team that ignores that every game it wants to make a statement?
Yeah, the gap really doesn't come into it, I have to say. Like I went there last season, I think it was my first game under pressure and all the things. It's and go there now, 14 points. There's no change for us. The mentality is to go and perform and look to play our game, and that pressure will always be there, and especially a game at Ibrox, we know supporters, but that makes it even better.
Gordon Strachan always talked about this fixture and said after it, when you're in the manager's room, he always wanted to speak to the Rangers manager because he said they were the only two people inside that room that knew what it was like, that could experience it, they're the only two that could actually have a real conversation about it. In a situation such as you're about to encounter at Ibrox, do you have empathy for the other guy?
Why?
Can you have that in this situation?
I think I have empathy for every manager and coach, because until the curtains go back and the spotlight is on you, you can never ever even begin to imagine what it feels like. You can't. People can sit so close to you and be there, but until you're charged with leading a team and a club, and then what comes with that, then.
It's good that Brendan's talking in general here about football management and not talking about empathy for the Sefconian manager.
You'll never truly get the grasp of it, of what it means. So for every coach and manager, and every manager, particularly, I have real empathy for.
Interesting. Anyway, there is a headline that I've just spotted that Celtic are interested in an 18-year-old centre half with lots of senior experience, apparently. Looking to bring him in a peak contract in January. Interesting. It's an 18-year-old. He's 6'3", centre back, and Celtic are looking to try and bring him in January. If they bring him in January, Rocky, it's the end of the road for Rocky. Surely they're going to. Rocky's on a fantastic wage at Celtic. Rocky is on, Lanky, you're right. That's the name that I was about to say, Tobias. He's a player that is obviously younger than, and it won't cost as much on a weekly wage. So it'll be interesting to see if Celtic do make a move for him in this window. He's one that is out of contract, so it'll be interesting to see if this young Toby gets. I told you it was going to be an interesting window. There's names starting to come in now that haven't been mentioned at all, and you're going to start getting some. I mean, I see that Liverpool have just turned down a bid for one of their players from Real Madrid. Said on here a couple of days ago, we've already got a player lined up for CCV. An 18-year-old? Is that the type of player? He's not physically. He's not as big as CCV. When you look at him, he's a lot thinner. Cameron Carter-Vickers is going nowhere just now. I mean, you will agree with that, Lanky, surely. But is it the case of bringing in this 18-year-old for a couple of years, 2-3 years down the line? And will he be prepared to stay that long? Anyway, and Brendan, we trust. Let's see what him and Tisdale bring to the party. Mind the Paul McStay. Yep. What's wrong with our own youth? Tone, the thing with our own youth is they have, the way that I see it, excuse me, our own youth have delusions of grandeur, and they want to be in the first team. They think that they should step right into the first team and get first team action. Brendan Rodgers has spoke about it before. They don't. But this is why I think that Johnny Kenny's got as much a shout as anybody to get a good run in the team for the next month or so. Well, the next month, to Brendan sees him up front and sees how good he can cope with the SPFL. The younger players that have come through the academy at Celtic, the wages that they want is far. I mean, it's English Premier League wages. It's English Championship wages, and they think that they should come from the B team and walk straight into like 10 grand a week. Whereas it's nonsense. It's nonsense, and that's why so many of them end up leaving. Anyway, I grew up with McStay. It was fab. Which one did you grow up with? Kieran's in the house saying, "Evening, everyone." Tommy touched on tons. Yeah, let's listen to Brendan again because I thought that was interesting.
Because, at times you have to, you're biting your tongue. You're having to listen or acknowledge people that couldn't manage the way out of an empty room.
Yes, that's it, Brendan. You tell them. You must be in the comment section when Rangers fans comment on this channel.
And you have to bite your tongue.
Yep.
So
I don't do that.
but all you can do and understand and know about football management is that all the words mean nothing.
Yep.
You deliver on the pitch.
Yes.
Your actions, your deeds on the pitch is what brings you
Brendan, didn't talk about deeds, because then they'll start shouting about the big house. Must stay home. Where's the deeds? Who's got the deeds?
success. And that's all you need to worry about.
Yep.
So, come back initially, yeah, I have a empathy for every manager and coach that's in the position.
Do you relish that responsibility? Have you grown to relish it even more, the responsibility? You talk about how much this game means, and there'll be members of your family where you know how much it means to them as well as all the fans as well. Is that something that's grown in you, that you kind of really enjoy that responsibility, maybe more than you used to as well?
It's always been there.
It's never not been there. I understand the game from my very first one I was here. I understood it as a supporter. I understood it the first game I had in September 2016, and from that I've enjoyed every single one.
Perfect.
How important is that, with there being no Celtic fans, for you to keep the crowd subdued, possibly even turn them against their own team? How important is a strong start and, laying down a marker?
Like Roy Aitken used to say, he says, I have no idea what the full chorus of the Billy Boys are, because we've usually scored by the end of the first line. And that was the great Bear Roy Aitken who said that, and it was a fantastic one, and I hope that Brendan comes out with something similar after that comment.
Well, it's always our approach going into any game. We always want to start well, finish strong. You're going to have moments in the game and periods in that where you have to defend and the crowd will push them. But that's how we always aim to play. As I said earlier, our game we want to bring there is how we play, which is a pressure game, a pressing game, and a passing game with that penetration that allows us to create goals and score goals.
It's not particularly important with there not being a Celtic support in cheering you on.
Well, a Celtic support there or not there, we want to control the game and find a way to dominate the game. And if we can't, for whatever reason, because the home team have pressure, then we stay calm on our defending and we defend when we have to, and then we get back to our structure again. But that's how we play. It's no different. It really is no different. Whether it was Motherwell, St Johnstone, Rangers, the approach is the same, and then whatever the game brings, you respond to it.
A colleague mentioned this fantastic record you personally have against Rangers. I think it's 1 defeat in 20, something like that. How much do you remember that one defeat? How much is that a motivating factor to avoid?
It's that another game.
That obviously wasn't a nice experience for you. Is that a motivation for you? Does that drive you on as much as anything to avoid that experience?
No, not so much that. Listen, I said at the time, Rangers were better than us on that day. So I've got no complaint. I won't look to excuse a referee or they were better than us.
Yeah,
so we have to accept that and
move on.
And show gratitude to the other team. They played well, and then we move on to our the next game. But for me, no, it's not about that. Not having that feeling. It's a feeling you don't want at any time losing a game of football, and that's how we approach it. But of course, this game is. We go in there with a real attacking mindset, and attacking by that I mean attacking when we don't have the ball, being really aggressive in our game, and then playing the level of game that we've played consistently now for a period of time, despite the many slumps.
Get in there, Brendan. Yes. What a manager. We slide dig right at the end of that. Despite all the little slumps that we've allegedly had, even though that we keep on winning, you've got to love our manager. He is one of the best. I'm laughing.
Brendan, sorry.
I need to screenshot that. That is the laugh of all laughs. Brendan, you have just made my year with that comment. And
I was going
laughing.
to say it's only been a couple of weeks since you last played Rangers. Obviously, what do you kind of take from the cup final, and what did you learn about Rangers that day in particular?
Nothing. Let's move on.
There, really only focus on your own game, and going to these types of games, they always throw up something. So, but for us, it's really about going to perform and performing well, and let's see where it brings.
Let's see where it brings us, and let's hope that there's no honest mistakes. Kaiser, just got your tags. Had to phone the doctor for more Viagra bars. Wasted all my wood on Celtic. Oh, Kaiser, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to jump into the comments section now. Won't put the TV on Julie until 3. Just get the on the kick-off. Just that. At 2-2 in 1977 when Big Roy scored to make it 2-2. Had the scarves up. What can just shut them up with a flash. Oh, Jesus. Mr. Quinn's having chicken McGrath. Taylor of interest in Dynamo Zagreb. Yes, if you could see that. Oh, we spoke about that when we first came on. If you see it up there, Taylor, Dynamo Zagreb. But they want him on a free contract. They want him in the summer, and Celtic are never going to leave him until the summer. I'd be very, very surprised. Baz will have the hiccups before he gets the mistletoe snog. Not a chance. It's my first drink of the night. The mistletoe snog. I went to snog earlier. Nobody waits for the mistletoe at this day and age. Anyway, let's get back to listening to Brendan Rodgers, who was in fine form.
This has been a hot topic for discussion the last few days. What's your take on it, and especially when it comes to how it influences your team selection?
Well, it's like any sector of my club, whether it's coaching, whether it's medicine, whether it's sports science, whether it's our welfare team. I'm always there to listen, but ultimately you make the judgment as a manager. That's what you get paid for. You know, you get paid as a manager to listen to opinions, but ultimately the beauty of being a coach and leader is that you decide.
Yep.
And I've got a brilliant sports science team here that will give me all the information I ever need if I want it.
If I want it.
And like in anything, I'm open to it, but I'm not driven by it. You know, I'm driven by talking with players and getting the feel for them.
Exactly.
Because we all have,
like a manager,
moments in our life and that you may not want to do something. But you get somehow dragged to do it, and then it actually becomes actually okay, and you quite enjoy it. So,
I hope Brendan's talking about going to the shops on a Sunday afternoon when he would rather be sitting at home after having a 3 o'clock kick-off, and he's sitting there on the sofa, and his missus goes, "Right, Brendan, come on, we need to go and do some supermarket shopping." And he's like, "Oh, come on, do I have to?" And his missus goes, "I'll get the sports science guys onto you." Fucking throws his arms up there and says, right, you win. Then he get the sports science guys in. I'll come to the shops. Brendan, you've got to love him.
So for me, it's more about feeling and feeling players. As I said, I repeat, I've got a brilliant sports science team here that know how we work, and we know we have to push players, and sometimes it might not sit well and it might not look nice on a number, but this game's an art, and it's about feeling, and it's about emotion, and it's about working with the players, and
it's about
and sometimes pushing them over the hill when sometimes they don't maybe want to go there, but that push gets them over, and then when they get to the other side,
it's a great place. Your instinct, your knowledge of the players ultimately is what's going to be key for you.
Of course.
You know your players, and you go with your instinct as well.
I think your instinct, your experience, and like I said, I listen to all my departments in terms of, you know, the information that I need. So I'll be informed by that, but I'm not driven by it. Again, the game's about people, and all, as I said, all the players here, they work ever so hard. I think you see, I changed the team around to keep the energy and keep that enthusiasm in the team, and the team have responded brilliantly to that. So yeah, but the game has to be about the emotion and the feeling how players are.
And it's interesting that he said that he swaps the team around, obviously, for rotation in the squad, and a modern day manager knows that anyway. A manager of any sort would know who to bring in and where, him and the coaching staff see it in their own eyes. They don't need some sports science guy sitting in the background with his laptop sitting going, nah, the guy's done. He's at 80% capacity. Brendan's just looking at him going, I'll decide when he's knackered. A bit like Celtic deciding, we'll decide when anybody else wins the league. Oh, did he just say that live?
We know obviously James is out. Do you have any other issues, Brendan? Have you got a set?
Apart from James, that's only one. Everyone else good and fit and healthy for the game.
It'll be interesting to see where Odom Ohm ends up in the next couple of weeks, because he's never kicked a ball all season. I expect him to be one to be loaned out, if not sold, in the next window.
In terms of your record, which is exceptional in this particular fixture, and you know the environment inside and out now, and it can be a brutal place. How much importance do you put on the winning, the being able to show the supporters that, yeah, this guy can win all fun games and he'll win them regular? How important has that been in your growth at Celtic and into this environment?
I think, Keith, it's one of the big areas where you're judged at this level. Working at Celtic or Rangers, I think you're judged in these games. Like I seen Giovanni Van Bronckhorst get to a European final and lose his job not long after it.
Exactly. But Brendan, that would never happen to you. Anyway, let's get some of the Celtic headlines that are kicking out a bit there tonight. Alan's Brazil makes horrendous Rangers claim. Can't be bothered with that. Ricky Foster, no. Brendan Rodgers makes Rangers sacking comment that he's not going to be bothered about. Boss responds to, no, it seems a little bit quiet on the transfer front, other than that one for Greg Taylor earlier on this afternoon, and then the 6'3" defender that Celtic are looking at. And there will be an update at some point when it comes to... I've lost it. I'm just trying to see breaking news. Still that Liverpool one. Trent Alexander to Real Madrid. Trent Alexander's now saying that he wants to go to Real Madrid. Oh, that's going to get interesting. Liverpool have turned down an approach. We'll talk about that on another channel, I think. Anyway, that's it tonight. Baz, happy New Year to you and all your family, mate. Have a great year. Yep, I'm going to wind the video up now because it is getting on a bit. It is 8 minutes to 10 here in good old España. 45-1 for a 4-0 victory. Parkhead boy, get that bet put on. Just before I go, I want to say a big shout out to Kaiser, a big shout out to Carly tonight, the two moderators on the community tab, because I hardly managed to read any of the comments, to be fair, because I'm that busy doing this. Sorry if I've not spoke to anyone tonight, Carly says, and same to me, apologise if I've missed anyone. Tam Max in the house also, I've just seen that there. Tam, good evening to you. 7-0 the Hoops. I think that we'll need to do some kind of video on the first, as a preview to the Rangers game. I don't know when though. I don't know if I'll be at night. I don't know if I can be bored. We'll wait and see. Anyway, Stephen Johnson says hi Baz, and Carly gets the big shout out, as does Tam, as does Kaiser. Big shout out to everyone else who has watched the video tonight. A happy new year. I didn't need to listen to myself anymore. A happy new year to every single one of you. There's been over 2,450 people watched this video so far tonight, which is absolutely unbelievable. Thank you to everyone who's watched every video this year. It's been an absolutely epic year on the channel, and there's only one way that this channel can work. It's me putting out as much content as possible and you guys ultimately watching it. without the likes of Stuart Ramsey, without the likes of Diane, without the likes of James 420 FTs, who hardly comments on the channel but is always there, without all you people, you know, it doesn't give me the motivation to do this, but you guys do on a daily basis. And the fact that we have created such a fantastic community. All that's left to say is what Kaiser said. Don't worry, be happy. Have an absolutely fantastic new year wherever you are. It's already been New Year in Thailand and in Australia. I've seen, got mates in Thailand and even in Hong Kong. I've seen it in Hong Kong already. Just have a good one and relax. And when you wake up tomorrow and it's 2020, thank God that you're a Celtic fan. Thank God that you're one of us. And we've got a good year ahead of us. And on that note, big shout out to Julie Turner, Andy Boy, Cell 1888, Craig Young, Glasgow's Green and White, Chill Pill, one of the big commenters on the channel, Brian O'Donnell, Tam Matt, Gareth Robertson, and Declan Garland, Dave Hislop, Glasgow's Green and White, and Diane. Have a fantastic new year to every single one of you. Kaiser gets the last comment to all the Celtic fans all over the world. Have a happy new year. And I mean that to every single Celtic fan all around the world.